Beyond the head of Graveyard Holler, there lives a witch who casts a spell to become the most famous horror host in the world. And her name is Goretta.
Folks, come on in and sit a spell. For the newcomers, Heidi there, I'm Greta Sin, critter of the night, mother of screams, drinker of ale 81, prom queen of the damned, and the greatest horror movie host in the world. For the rest of y'all, how's your pap getting on these days? I hope he's feeling better. Yeah, that is how it goes sometimes. Yins are in for a real treat. We're going to talk about one of my favorite movies of all time, Carrie.
Well, I'm back.
Hey, Barry, I didn't know you went anywhere. Oh, hey, did you bring me some LA?
Yes'm, and that ain't all. Just wait right here a second.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, hang on.
Can I help you with that?
There you go.
Oh, what is this?
That's a big old box of Grippos.
Oh, dang, it is a big old box of Grippos. Well, thank you so much, but it ain't even my birthday.
Yeah, well, I was just, working on the movie clips for this week's episode, and I realized that all of the movies you've done so far have been about women killing people.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I suppose you're right.
So, so this is just, my way of saying, don't kill me.
Barry, honey, you're already dead. Okay, Barry, you go get in your control closet. We gotta get this show rolling.
Yes'm.
We'll be right back, folks. This episode of Goretta, Critter of the Night is sponsored by the law offices of Jenkins, and Dracula. Have you been injured in a car accident? Are you a Dracula? If so, Jenkins, and Dracula may be able to get you the money that you deserve. So give them a call today at 1-666-DRACULA. That's 1-666-DRACULA. To find out if Jenkins, and Dracula is the law firm for you. And don't forget to tell them that Goretta sent you. This one's a real jewel, and there's way too much to talk about it, so let's get into it. Carrie was released in 1976, directed by Brian De Palma, and written by Lawrence D. Cohen, based on a book by Stephen King. The film stars Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, Amy Irving, Nancy Allen, William Katt, and everyone's favorite French cheeseburger fan, John Travolta. It opens on a girls' gym class playing volleyball. The camera closes in on our main character, Carrie, just as she whiffs a swing at the ball and loses the game for her team. That gives us our first chance to see how mean these girls are to Carrie.
Play the game. You win a game with her on the team. Look at her. Just standing there with the ball. You eat shit.
Dang, girl! Then the title sequence rolls, and it is a doozy. The camera moves in slow motion through a steamy locker room with the girls walking around in various stages of undress. Eventually, the camera finds Carrie alone in the shower. She spends a little extra time cleaning the inside of her thigh, but then drops the soap. The next time her hand moves down her thigh, it is covered in blood. Looks like it's Carrie's time of the month. It's her Aunt Flo's in town. It's a murder in the Red Barn. But even worse than that, based on her reaction, we learn that it is Carrie's first period. And even though she's 16, neither her parents nor the school have prepared her for this moment. Carrie freaks the heck out. She runs out of the shower, grabbing at her classmates, screaming, "Help me!" They are once again super mean to Carrie. Plug it up, plug it up, plug it up. Plug it up, plug it up. Eventually, the gym teacher, Miss Collins, runs in to break up the mob and calm Carrie down. And this is where we learn a very important fact about Carrie. When she gets upset, the audience hears a noise like squeak, 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 and then something happens.
Stand up and take care of yourself. Come on, do it. Do it. Do it.
We're all sorry about this incident, Cassie.
It's Carrie. Creepy Carrie, creepy Carrie. Oh.
Our girl Carrie is clearly a witch. Then we meet Carrie's mama and, woo boy, she is a piece of work.
I'm here on the Lord's work, Mrs. Snell. Spreading the gospel of God's salvation through Christ's blood.
You see Carrie's mama, she loves her some Jesus. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But she loves Jesus in the kind of way where your neighbors will try to pay you money to stop talking about him and go away. There's a little something wrong with that. And there's a lot of something wrong with the way she reacts when the school calls to tell her about Carrie's incident.
You're a woman now.
Why didn't you tell me, Mama?
She starts beating Carrie and talking about how the curse of blood would never came upon her if she had remained sinless.
And it was weak and loosed the raven on the world. And the raven was called sin. Say it. The raven was called sin.
Why didn't you tell me, Mama?
Say it.
No.
The raven was called sin.
Ooh, Mama, and the raven was called sin.
She's trying to get Carrie to pray for forgiveness for whatever sin she supposedly committed, but Carrie resists, so her mama grabs her by the hair of the head and drags her off to the prayer closet. In the closet, there's a creepy altar to Saint Sebastian where Carrie's supposed to pray for forgiveness. Also in the closet is a broom and dustpan. Now say what you will about old Margaret White, but she was practical. Back at school, the girls who were throwing tampons at Carrie get detention. And I mean, it is some serious detention.
1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. Stretch, Norma, stretch. Up, bend, up. 4 and 5 and 11 and 12 and 13.
Chris, who is the Regina George of Bates High, finally has enough and walks off, which means that her prom tickets are revoked. Later, we see Chris and her boyfriend, Vinnie Barbarino, and we quickly learn 3 things. Chris is a total psychopath, Vinnie Barbarino is a dumb shit, and he is going to help her get revenge on Carrie White.
Who?
Meanwhile, not all the girls are as awful as Chris. One of them, Sue, feels legitimately bad about what she did. So she convinces her boyfriend Tommy, who is also the most popular boy in school, to ask Carrie to the prom as a way of lifting her spirits. Later, we see that Carrie's been doing some self-exploration in the library, reading books about telekinesis. Tommy, who seems like a nice enough guy, finds her in the library looking at books and asks her to prom. She responds by running away. And with that, we've pretty much got our movie all set up. Will the outcast Carrie really go to the prom with the most popular boy in school? How will the dastardly Chris attempt to get revenge on Carrie? And what's up with Carrie's crazy old mama? Come on back after this break and we'll talk all about it. It's the heliphone again. Lord, I can't even throw to commercial without this dang thing interrupting me. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, it is you, Christopher T. Rowbar. It's my landlord.
It is I, Christopher T. Rowbar.
Let me guess, you have a question for me.
Indeed.
Go for it.
Why are skeletons never upset?
I don't know. Why are skeletons never upset?
Because nothing gets under their skin.
Okay, it's always a real pleasure talking to you. You take care now. All right, bye.
Bless his heart.
So after Carrie runs away from Tommy, Miss Collins, the gym teacher who is wearing the highest and widest socks on the planet, finds her. Carrie tells her about Tommy asking her to the prom and says that she thinks it's probably a prank. But Miss Collins encourages her to go, saying that Carrie could be really pretty if she was all made up. And she might even have fun, you know, if she decides to
Live deliciously.
But Miss Collins has proven herself to be a real hard ass.
What are you doing? On your feet, right now, 2 lines. Eyes front, you too, Chris. Spit out that gum.
Where will I put it, Miss Collins? You can choke on it for all I care. Just get it out of your mouth. Wipe that smirk off your face, Norma. And I want you all to know that you did a really shitty thing yesterday. A really shitty thing.
Nolan.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Could you speak up?
Billy Nolan.
Well, isn't he the lucky one?
Come on, you hot shots! Okay, the show's over.
And she is also suspicious that Sue and Tommy are playing a prank on Carrie.
What could you possibly have had in mind?
I thought it would be a good thing for Carrie to get her to join in with a few things and be with people.
Make her a part of things.
Right.
Come on, Sue. We're not that stupid. Neither is Carrie.
Collins admits that she can't stop them, so she reluctantly gets out of the way. Afterwards, Tommy visits Carrie's house. Carrie's worried that her mama will see him and act like her mama, so she won't let him in. But Tommy eventually convinces her, and she accepts. Later that night, Chris, Vincent Vega, and 2 of his loser friends go to a pig farm and hop the fence. They make their way to a pig pen where Danny Zuko takes a sledgehammer to one of these poor oinkers and Chris eggs him on.
Yeah, that's my baby. Yeah.
Whatever could they be up to? Back at Carrie's house, her and her mama are eating apple cake by candlelight under a particularly morose tapestry of the Last Supper, when Carrie tells her mama that she's been invited to the prom.
Prom?
Yeah, the senior prom, you know. Everybody's going. Yeah, I want to be normal. I want to start to try and be a whole person before it's too late for me to...
Well, that's one way to put out the candles. They argue over the thunder until Carrie finally yells that she's accepted. Her mama tells her to get in that prayer closet, but Carrie tells her no. She stands her ground and says that Tommy is a nice boy.
Boys. The boys. The boys. Yes, the boys. After the blood come the boys.
Carrie pleads for her mama to sit and talk, but she won't. Suddenly, we hear that familiar squee, squee, squee noise. Windows slam closed around the house, shocking Mama into a fearful silence. Carrie quietly and firmly asserts that she is going. Also, she says to Mama coldly, things are going to change around here. Mama calls Carrie a witch, like that's a bad thing, but Carrie doesn't think there's anything wrong with her powers. Finally, we can hear her confidence really bloom as she puts an end to this argument.
I'm going. You can't stop me. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Over at the school, the gym's all gussied up for the festivities, while Chris and her dumb shit boyfriend, Turl from Battlefield Earth, are fiddling with something. Next thing you know, it's prom day and kids are getting ready all over town. We see a couple of girls at the salon yakking it up about Tommy and Carrie. Watch Sue help finish up the decorations, which is nice since she isn't even going. And get this fun little bit with Tommy and his friends.
Would you go out with me?
Not with ruffles.
All right, now look at me, Pete. Don't I look sharp?
Well, yeah, it looks good on you, but I don't look right in a tuxedo.
How do you know? If you ever put on a tuxedo?
I don't have a tuxedo body.
Ruffles, Pete, so you always gotta make a joke, right? No, I just don't like ruffles.
Wait a second, I know just the tuxedo for him.
Well, what do you think, huh?
Finally, we end up back with Carrie for a little classic back and forth with her mama.
Red. I might have known it would be red.
It's pink, Mama.
Is Carrie's mama colorblind? You hardly get a chance to figure on that one before Piper Laurie delivers maybe the most hilarious line in the history of body shaming.
I can see your dirty pillows.
Y'all, this woman will not stop pestering her poor daughter. She just keeps on going with one thing and another. This one comes back later.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
When Tommy arrives to pick up Carrie, Mama tries to stop her from going. But Carrie screams, "Sit down," and gives her the old squee, squee, squee. Carrie leaves, and the camera zooms in on her mama, dumbstruck, lying on the bed, just shook that she can no longer control her little girl. Just before the scene closes, she reaches into her Bible Rolodex and pulls out Exodus chapter 22, verse 18.
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
And with that, we're ready to go to the prom! I can't wait to talk about the end of this movie, so join us after the break.
Miss Goretta, we've got our guest on the line all ready to go.
We have a guest?
Yes'm. Mr. Beelzebubby set it all up.
Well, okay.
I'm gonna tear Beelzebubby a new one.
But this is exciting. This is the first time we've ever had a guest, y'all. Go ahead and bring him on.
Okay, joining us live from the parking lot of a nearby food line, please welcome a raven called Sin.
Howdy there. It's great to have you on our show. You're our very first guest. So, my name is Sin, too. I spell that with a Y and two N's. How do you spell it?
My name isn't Sin, it's a raven called Sin. You gotta say the whole thing, it's like a Tribe Called Quest.
What are your feelings on Edgar Allan Poe?
He died a long time ago, so don't really know him too personally.
You ever watch RuPaul's Drag Race?
I mean, not really. I only know a select few English words and phrases.
Perchance, were you loosed upon the world by a woman named Eve?
No, my mom's name is...
Well, thanks for joining us, A Raven Called Sin. We'll be right back with the legendary conclusion to Carrie. So it's finally time to go to the prom. Carrie is pretty nervous at first, but Tommy has no problem treating her just like any other date he might take. And his friends are actually nice to her.
Hey, where did you buy that dress? I love it. I made it. Made it? I'm so nervous. It's okay. You can sit with us.
Really, only Norma here still seems to want to be mean to Carrie. But as Norma couldn't even see fit to match her hat to her gown, she can go eat glass. After a while, Carrie summons the courage to let Tommy dance with her. They hit the dance floor and get to spinning.
Carrie, we're here. And we're together. And I like it. I do, I like it.
that just the sweetest thing you ever saw? Carrie and Tommy go back to their table to discover their names are on the ballot for prom king and queen. Again, Carrie's first instinct is to be demure and not vote for herself. But Tommy convinces her.
Come on. To the devil with false modesty.
The devil.
To the devil indeed. Meanwhile, we learn that some kids have come to prom even though they don't have tickets. Sue has snuck in to get a peek at how things are going for Carrie and Tommy, which is nice. But Chris and her dumb shit boyfriend Tony Manero are hiding underneath the stage, clearly planning something not very nice with their bucket of pig's blood. Then the big moment arrives. The head of the prom committee takes to the microphone and announces that Carrie and Tommy are the winners. This comes as no surprise to Chris, who enlisted the help of a couple of cronies to make sure that happened. Carrie's pink gown glows white and angelic as the spotlight hits it, and they walk through a cheering crowd toward the stage. Carrie is smiling hugely, with tears of joy just welling up in her eyes. And then, my dear friends, we are treated to one of the finest examples of suspenseful filmmaking that has ever graced the silver screen. Just as Carrie and Tommy reach the stage, Chris peeks out from underneath. Then, as Carrie is being crowned, we see the bucket of blood directly over top of her. If it wasn't already, at this point, Chris's plan is as clear as day. The next 3 minutes and 9 seconds are agonizing as our view switches to and fro from Carrie in the glory of her triumph, unaware of the danger lurking overhead, to Chris holding the rope attached to the bucket, waiting for the perfect second to pull it, to Sue watching from the wings, feeling good because she's done a nice thing, before clocking that rope and realizing what's about to happen and who's going to do it. And finally to Ms. Collins, near tears at how happy Carrie is until she notices Sue moving toward the stage. Thinking that Sue is trying to prank Carrie instead of stop a prank, Ms. Collins grabs her and forces her out of the door. We watch from above as the bucket teeters and then falls, spilling blood all over Carrie. After all of that buildup, the scene goes silent except for the sound of gloopy blood dripping down out of that bucket and the now empty bucket hitting the overhead rigging. The crowd is stunned. Only one person is laughing, and who is it? Of course, fucking Norma. The bucket falls from the rope, hitting Tommy in the head, knocking him out. Again, only true assholes like Norma laugh. But that's not what Carrie thinks she sees as she looks out on the crowd. Standing there, completely coated in blood, her pink dress now truly red, she starts to hear her mama in her head.
They're all gonna laugh at you! They're all gonna laugh at you! They're all gonna
We're all sorry, Cassie. We're all sorry, Cassie.
Trust me, Carrie. You can trust me. Trust me, Carrie.
And then Carrie snaps, and we have reached the find out part of the movie. Seriously, I probably don't have to tell you that this scene is an all-time classic. But I really love the change in Carrie that is shown during this scene. She's lit from below in red, her eyes wide, her head turning sharply like the bride of Frankenstein as she squeeze all over the gym. Finally, Carrie walks off stage, covered in blood and backlit by flame. She moves slowly through the crowd of people, taking it all in. She easily exits the building, the doors opening for her. We see the gym engulfed in fire as she leaves. And then Carrie squeeze all the way home. Chris and her dumb shit boyfriend try to run her over with a car, but Carrie flips the car and blows them up. She enters her mama's house covered in blood, not too different from the beginning of the movie. And then, of course, her mama tries to kill her.
Pray. We'll pray.
Father, what name? How did thy name? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
But Carrie uses her mind powers to send knives, shooting at her mama, pinning her in the same pose as Saint Sebastian in the prayer closet, killing her. Just then, we hear groaning as the house starts collapsing in on top of them. Carrie pulls her mama's corpse into the prayer closet with her as the house catches on fire from all the candles and is slowly sinking into the earth. We see Carrie passed out in the background, holding her mother's body as the camera pans in on the glowing eyes of Saint Sebastian. Finally, we have a lovely little coda of poor traumatized Sue, the only survivor of prom night, dreaming of leaving flowers in memory of Carrie. And that's the movie. I think you can really tell when a movie is a passion project, and this definitely was a passion project for Brian De Palma, who knew that he wanted to direct this movie as soon as he read the book. You gotta love it when a filmmaker goes above and beyond like this. De Palma delivers a compelling narrative alongside some seriously weird stuff. Carrie snagged 2 Oscar nominations, Best Actress for Sissy Spacek and Best Supporting Actress for Piper Laurie, and it's easy to see why. Sissy Spacek was the perfect choice for Carrie. She can portray childlike innocence and then turn on a dime and show you otherworldly rage. It's impossible to take your eyes off her. And Piper Laurie, whose son? As Carrie's mama, she is where it is at. Every syllable, every gesture is electrifying. Like Carrie and her mama, all of the characters in this movie are elevated to archetypes. And that works really well here. The horror in this horror movie is an archetypical horror. Fear of a woman stepping into her own power runs real deep in many cultures. Carrie shows the danger for everyone when that fear is internalized and filtered through trauma, and takes us on a heck of a roller coaster ride while doing so. So if you haven't watched it, I say watch it. And if you've already watched it, I say watch it again.
Goretta was filmed in front of a dead studio audience.
Oh, hey, Stephanie. Yep, we just finished it. This is my roommate, Stephanie. We met on the web. She's a great big old Stephen King fan. Yeah, I did know that Carrie was Stephen King's first book, and the first thing he wrote that was adapted into a movie. That is very impressive. Huh. I did not know that Saint Sebastian wasn't present in the book. I didn't know that either. That Carrie's dress was red in the book and also in the script? So Piper Laurie's line when she says, "Of course it's red," that was actually just in the script. And Sissy Spacek ad-libbed her "It's pink, mama" line? Very interesting. I didn't forget, girl. You gotta be there by 8:30. Old DJ Webhead here is DJing the Graveyard Holler High School prom tonight. Yeah, girl. I even got your headphones right here. Of course I went to prom, girl. Where do you think I got this tiara? Definitely not on Amazon for $9. I think I still have a picture from that night. Hey, Barry, can you find that picture from prom when I was prom queen? Oh, look at me, ain't I pretty? What do you mean, which one was that? You're rude, girl. Well, folks, that's our show for today. Join us next time when the nightmare of the 90s will still be alive with Scream! Oh, you're more of a Stab fan, huh? Hilarious.